You hear is from square waves. This is a triangle. It's too fast to hear it. So really each one has its own kind of characteristic tone. And it was nice to implement all those separately and then together. This is the slapback delay. So it only does it once. And then the feedback does it until it decays until you can't hear it. This actually kind of adds noise because it never actually goes to zero. But that's it. And then the reverse is pretty weird. Go wacky effect. You can hear it best when you slide. And then, I'm not going to demonstrate the piano right now, it doesn't really work with one speaker. This is a preamp. Basically, I can manipulate my lows, mids, and highs. So that sound right there is from the file read operations, and it was a big pain until I turned it off with a dip switch. So this is a subtle effect since you're just kind of boosting and cutting different regions of the spectrum. It might be hard to tell. The easiest one to see it on is actually with noise. If I cut the highs, a lot of noise goes away. But in the end, it's still really hard to hear. Yeah, there we go. So I turned up the highs, way more highs. Lows, I'm going to drop them now. So that does its thing. So this next one is the overdrive. I made it customizable so I can independently set the threshold on both top and bottom. I've never seen that before. I thought it was interesting to try out. So right here, it's clipping much more on top than on bottom. And that's why it's fuzzy but kind of gentle. It's hard to quantify, but you can mess with it. Get really hard clipping down here. And I can adjust the gain as well. So I multiply the input before I test whether it's at the threshold. And so you get a really steep curve and then flat. So that one works. It's pretty crazy. And finally the autowah. I'll start off with the LFO form. And I made it so I could adjust the quality factor and the rate of that LFO. And so you can get really weird ringing effects. That's what I can do. But in the end, this effect is kind of poor. So I made the envelope follower in order to control it all. So there's a lot of parameters when I have this envelope to control it, and so it's really it's just a big space for searching for a good method of doing this, or a good setting. So in the future I'll tweak that and make it easier to find. But hopefully this will be a good one. So you can hear as it decays, the filter comes back. Better is lower resonance because I'm cutting too much of the other frequencies. Can't really hear it. So you can really hear it on the attack, and then it slowly decays. And if I mess with the release, then you can actually change that rate of decay. My next plan is to make an attack decay, sustain, something just better envelope follower. This one's alright, only has 2 parameters, but you can make a really cool one if wanted, and so I do want. But yeah. You want me to demonstrate the recording features too?
Sure.
It's kind of cool. The only problem is because this doesn't read it constantly, I can't make it loop in time. And so you end up with, it's hard to loop in time. To fix that, I would have to either thread it or code everything in the same location. So now I'm going to tell it to play back and loop. And then you can actually overdub a little bit. That's what I made.
Very good. Fantastic.